Pizza from Italy sucks.
Sucks pizza.
Commonwealth, the former empire, now Commonwealth. Is it relevant? Probably not. But why not give this part a shot? Stay tuned. Here comes Uncommonwealth, the podcast.
And we're live.
Hey.
Yeah. We're live virtually from 4 undisclosed locations around the world. Thanks for joining us.
Alrighty, friends, I got a fun history question for you here. How did Prince Philip, the Duke of, is it Edinburgh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. How did Prince Philip help solve one of the greatest mysteries in the 20th century in Russian history?
He exhumed a body or something, didn't he? Something like that?
Personally, just went out with the shovel and just...
Well, I don't know. He's pretty good with a shovel. Or had it done or something.
It is the story of the Romanovs, the last ruling family in Russia, last royal ruling family in Russia, who were murdered during the Russian Revolution, but were their bodies were like, no one knew where they were. But he provided his DNA because through his lineage, he was related to them. He provided his DNA to prove who the bodies were, but more importantly, to solve this big controversy of who is Anastasia. You may know the Disney film Anastasia or the Broadway musical. That is about Anastasia Romanov. So when this family, the Russian royals, they were murdered as part of the revolution, their bodies were like buried anywhere, but there was this massive conspiracy theory that Anastasia, the youngest daughter, had escaped.
Well, isn't Scarlett Johansson a Romanov? Isn't Black Widow a Romanov?
No relation.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. It was legitimately one of like the modern mysteries of our time, is that that was like a big conspiracy. People thought that she'd escaped. And then a few years after the fact, people started turning up claiming to be her, the last living member of the royal family. And the most famous of which for like all of the...
Scarlett Johansson. That's my point. Sorry.
All of the 20th century, she was like claiming to be Anastasia Romanov. She filed a case in the courts, but it was never being conclusively proven because no one knew where the bodies of the Romanovs were. The Soviet Union weren't telling anyone. So this whole time, no one knew if it was really her. Is she the princess that lived? And then eventually, after the fall of the Soviet Union, they found 3 of the 5 bodies, but they didn't find Anastasia's body. So it's still, is this her? But then I think it was in like 2007 or something. They eventually did find another grave that had another body that was tested to be the Romanovs. But it was through Prince Philip's DNA that he proved that all these, because they were all in these unmarked graves and things from 80 years ago or whatever.
Prince Philip's DNA is also what ties this to the Commonwealth and makes it relevant.
This is why it's all a big, it will come full circle.
Spread a wide seed.
It's a pretty crazy story. Like if you haven't seen the film, like the Disney film's fun. Spoiler alert, unfortunately, yeah, Anastasia Romanov in real life did die with her family, which Prince Philip proved. But yeah, the movie's pretty great. But it's if you ever read the story, it's like it's insane because there were these people coming out being like, "I am the princess, so like, please give me all of my royal whatever."
I mean, is there anything left of their, jewels or their castles or their...
I think that was like, I guess, one of the reasons why so many people were coming forward claiming to be her, aside from the fame. Obviously huge parts of Russia wanted this person to be their princess.
Right.
So there was that aspect to it. But I'm sure, the jewels.
Well, it was probably more that like if you imagine if it was true, if she was like the former princess, then you could like reconnect the Tsar like dynasty to now that the communism's gone and be like, now I'm the ruler. Now $800 million of tax money should go to me and my family every year, and we're going to be the king and queen of Russia.
I think Putin would feed us some sushi real quick.
Yeah, she wouldn't last long.
Vladimir would not let that.
But would it have poison or venom in it?
Good question. Just toxins, as we now know. But pretty wild controversy that was only like relatively recently solved for the last 50 years. Like as when our parents were growing up, this was an unsolved mystery, and this woman was still alive. So she's out there being like, is she the princess of Russia? We don't know.
And you used to be able to get away with that stuff too. You could, if you had a good enough sort of story, you could get away with, before they could DNA
people
test.
were getting away with being princes and princesses all the time, Piers, across Europe.
Oh, by the way, I've never told anyone this before, but I'm JFK.
Well, I'm Nelson Mandela, so.
Oh, you play the violin, do you?
Yeah.
On the roof.
The podcast.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey!
We're going to keep the royal theme going today. We're going to keep talking about the fancy people up at the top there in the 0.001% of the Commonwealth. I'm, of course, going to talk about King Togbe Ngorifa Sefas Kosivansa.
Of course you are.
I think everyone saw that coming.
After the 13th syllable, I knew who it was.
King Togbe is a king in Ghana, but he lives in Germany, and he rules his people, millions of people in Ghana, via Skype. He gives weekly updates and reports from Germany, where he lives and works as a mechanic.
Wait, what?
And he prefers Skype over Zoom?
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking Zoom should go after him. He'd be a great. Think of the
He could be the face
advertising.
of Zoom.
Be like the Verizon guy.
I thought was weird that he uses Skype.
That's the part. Skype. What kind of guy is this? This is a Zoom world.
Him being a German mechanic is totally normal as a king of
Ghana.
Maybe the security
Ghana,
that's better on Skype for kings.
So wait, are the people of Ghana, they're just cool with this? They just tune in for their weekly
They're cool with
Zoom
it.
session?
He tells them that he can better rule them from, he can spread the word of Ghana in Germany. He's close to the sort of seat of Europe, he says, so he can make a better claim for his
But
country.
it's like he just didn't want to live in Ghana anymore.
Well, he was already living in Germany when his grandfather died, and because his father and his older brother, were both left-handed, which is apparently the devil's hand in Ghana,
What?
he became king.
No way.
Oh, the old left-handed brother thing. Yeah. I don't think you could use Zoom to rule Ghana because it'd be super awkward if you got Zoom bombed during your weekly address. All of a sudden, it's just a bunch of dicks on the screen.
Yeah, someone's up there holding something with their left hand.
Yeah.
He inherited the throne because he's right-handed instead of his brother,
And father.
but just didn't move back to the country he rules.
Well, he
That is taking working remotely to the next level.
Well, he's working on a Jaguar right now, and those things he doesn't want to leave until he's finished, and those things take a while.
Imagine losing out on being king because you're left-handed. Wouldn't you just be like, oh, no,
I'd chop it off.
Learn how to use your right. Like I just have really bad
Piers,
handwriting.
why did you jump to chop it off? Why wouldn't you just say I'm right-handed?
Line would be better.
That's a bit extreme.
I'd want to prove my dedication to the crown, to the.
I'm so glad there's other people with biases against left-handed people.
Is anyone on here left-handed?
Know you now if I was.
I wouldn't tell you if I was.
Yeah, Piers has got a claim to the Ghana throne that he's trying to pursue.
So what's this king's popularity rating?
They love him.
Oh,
They love him. They think he's a credit to the people because he's, in Europe moving and shaking.
Yeah, make Ghana great again.
Nice. He probably throws up a Skype filter every now and then to spice it up.
He also is an accomplished musician. He's got 6 albums out.
what?
What kind of music?
I don't know. Disco?
David Hasselhoff cover band.
Yeah.
He's a violinist.
This guy, what can't he do? I
What
mean,
can't he
use his
do?
left hand.
Other than live in Ghana.
Except
Live in Ghana. Seems like his one fatal flaw.
Yeah. That's so good. Skyping in to rule.
they used to do that, didn't they? The president would have a sort of weekly address. Everything would shut down and be on CNN. You wouldn't see him speak every day. It would be like
It was a
once
radio.
week.
It used to be a radio address.
Radio
Yeah.
address.
I mean, really, when you think about it, what difference does it make if your leader is in the country? The countries are usually so big, they're like in one part of it, but they don't know what's going on anywhere else. They're in like random house. This is what this COVID has proven.
Yeah, you should make it clear he was ruling by Skype before the COVID virus. Like he's been doing it for a while, right?
For a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a trendsetter.
Yeah, so maybe other foreign leaders are calling him up for tips, saying, how do I run a nation?
How do I change
Virtually.
my oil? How do I rule a
Change my
country
oil.
remotely?
Trudeau's wife had COVID, so he had to not leave his house and was just doing these virtual cabinet meetings and then doing press conferences from outside of his house. And everyone was like, why do you even need to be in Canada?
How is it possible he didn't catch it if your wife has it? How do you not?
So that sounds like an article for People magazine.
The podcast.
Catherine has some questions. They might be smart, or they might be dumb.
This one is about my favorite topic, food. I was wondering what the most popular food in the world is, and which is, to be honest, a very complicated question because how do you judge popularity? And also, is it just by like the amount of consumption? I don't know if you guys know the amount of
rice, right?
rice, exactly.
Gotta be
Rice
rice,
and
yeah.
corn are the crop most commonly
Or wheat.
and eaten.
Maybe.
Apparently corn and rice are both more commonly consumed than wheat. But I'm talking about like established cuisine dishes. So I did find Taste Atlas has a list of the 100 most popular foods. They're all about food. And I have the top 5 and it is controversial.
I thought you were going to do all 100. was so worried.
I mean, I was pretty upset that grilled cheese only came in at 92.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, wow.
Can I just missed something, I think. What's the list of? I totally missed the beginning.
You did it, Catherine.
Serious.
I heard rice and beans or something. What?
I cannot get mad at you for that because
I know. That's the reason I asked. But it's the top nutritionist.
It's the top 50 sexiest foods.
Okay. And what was grilled cheese?
92.
Huh.
The list is long, obviously.
It's
What do you
100.
guys
It's
think
100.
are the top 5? Shut up. What do you guys think are in the top 5?
Penne amatriciana.
Sushi.
Sushi, yes, is one of them.
What? Really?
In top 5 in around the world. Yeah, think about the world, not.
I'm going with curry.
But
What?
curry's not a specific food, right? It's
Yeah,
a way
Yeah,
of,
how specific is this
Oh.
list?
like
and
chicken
except
marsala or
with,
something.
Like
Yeah.
barbecue is 91. Falafel
Oh, that's
is
pretty
93.
broad. What's number 6? That'll give us an indication of of how specific they are in the top 5.
That's not on my.
Well, sushi was in the top 5. Doesn't that give you a sense of
Okay.
specificity?
That does. It does.
Pizza.
Yes.
All right. Hamburger.
No.
Okay.
it's
Number
American.
1 most popular food in the world is pizza, apparently.
I've had a pizza in China, so they do have pizza in China.
Yeah, pizza has really become popular all around the world.
But not-
Fried chicken. Fried chicken's pretty universal.
But would that just be chicken, or would it be? Okay, so wait.
I don't
Pizza
know
was
what
number
to
1.
guess.
Number 2 is sushi. And remember, sushi is like a general term. I think it includes.
It's not sashimi, so let's
No.
just be clear.
Number 3 is ramen.
Ah, okay.
Well, Japan are crushing it.
How
2
are
of the
there-
top 5.
How are there 100 of these super broad?
Yeah. Where is bread?
Number 4 is just food.
And then 4 was tacos.
Ah, okay, makes sense.
And 5, though, is sashimi.
What?
What? Nah. No.
No, this
It seems odd, doesn't it?
because you guys.
This
are
list was written by Shinzo Abe, the Japanese PM.
But based on like population, I mean, I don't know. I feel like this makes sense. Raw fish is super popular around the world.
You're telling me that people are there differentiating sushi and sashimi to the point that both rank top 5.
Both ranked top 5.
But things like gyoza
Insane.
or dumplings or all sorts of.
I like the way you say
Dumplings are high
gyoza.
up, though. I think they were top 10 or top.
Jeff-
Dumplings are probably pretty high up. What about bagels? Are bagels on there, or is it just anti-Semitic?
How racist is this list? It's very pro-Japanese.
Suspiciously Japanese.
Hang on a second. But the fact that we have like North American have any foods on the top 5 because all like these foods originated elsewhere, right?
I think at this point we're claiming pizza in the States.
As
yeah,
ours? Yeah.
very
Pizza was
Texas.
invented in New York, right?
Yeah, I think so. Lombardi's was the first.
Lombardi.
I've been to Naples where pizza was invented, and I had
Yeah.
a pizza there. It was
Disgusting.
it was- oh, the city? Yeah, the city's filthy.
No, I had pizza in
Pizza's
Italy. It was gross.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You should have had some sashimi then.
Yeah.
Their
Get some-
specialty.
I just assumed that the top most popular food would be something native to New Zealand.
I should have rigged it.
The podcast.
So head-to-head sports legends. This is more like teams versus individuals this time around.
Oh.
So contestant 1 is the 1988 Jamaican Olympic Bobsled Team.
Oh, good choice.
Made famous in the movie Cool Runnings. The ultimate underdog story of the 1988 Calgary Winter Olympic Games because they're bobsledding team from Jamaica.
Love that movie so much.
Oh, good. John Candy, may he
Oh,
rest in
okay.
peace. Contestant number 2 is the 2018 Canadian national basketball team that won a silver medal at the Commonwealth Games, which, by the way, was the first time Canada ever medaled in basketball at the Commonwealth
Wow.
Games.
Wow.
Canada.
They lost the finals to, that's right, Australia.
I thought so.
Ah.
Probably because we had Andrew Bogart, the one like he played in the NBA, so he probably carried the whole thing.
Okay, so the 1988 Jamaican Olympic bobsled team versus the 2018 Canadian national basketball team at First Sport Volleyball.
First reaction's got to
Wait.
be the basketball team, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
they're really tall.
They're tall. They're used to balls.
But I feel like the Jamaican bobsled team have proved there's nothing they can't
And-
overcome
Mm.
and excel at.
Right, because isn't volleyball like more likely than bobsled?
Would they have John Candy as a coach, or would he be dead?
Well,
Let's assume that he's alive. Just to be clear, he played the coach in the movie, not.
in real life, John Candy, the real life.
I just want to make sure you don't think he actually coached the
I
team.
thought we were talking about the movie team.
No, I'm saying they were made famous by the movie.
Catherine's like, wait, that was a documentary, wasn't it?
A documentary, as they say.
Okay. All right.
Did you say volleyball or beach volleyball?
Regular volleyball, in a gym.
Okay,
volleyball.
Indoor.
But if you have a view on beach volleyball, I'd love to hear.
Well, I mean, Jamaica's a lot of amazing beaches and
true.
tropical environments.
They're used to the sand, I guess.
They're used to the sand. Like, I mean, I know they've shown they don't need the proper environment to train in.
I think it's 100% the bobsled team. They're just going to be more gritty. And you just got to like grind it out if your first sport you don't know.
Well, also, I assume they're high. Does that help?
There are only 4 people on a bobsled team, though. That would be a disadvantage.
Well, but they have extras. They have subs that they would
Back up.
They have backups. They're not undermanned in the volleyball game. But okay, we got 2 more sports to do. Okay, so the Olympic 1988 Jamaican Olympic bobsled team versus the 2018 Canada national basketball team at Mongoose Wrestling.
Is that where they wrestle a mongoose?
They wrestle a mongoose. The whole team has to pin one mongoose, and it's timed.
Oh, I'm definitely going bobsled team here. I can't think of anything more terrifying than trying to wrestle a mongoose.
Here's a question, Adam. Step 1 of wrestling a mongoose is catching a mongoose. So are they able to utilize their bobsled to catch the mongoose?
I'm assuming it's like when that bull gets released into the ring at the rodeo, and then they all gotta go like run around in the rodeo ring and pin the mongoose.
I don't know if any human has a dexterity required to catch a mongoose.
So you're saying it would be a tie?
I'm saying it would be.
No one is successful.
No one is. I don't think it can be done.
Mongoose wins.
Okay, so we have a third contest between the bobsled team and the Canadian national basketball team. Who would win at bobsled?
You know, the funny thing is like
it's not a given.
It's not a given because the Jamaican team, they might be like, they've already done it. They're like, it's all right. We've been there, done that, got the T-shirt. We're focusing on our volleyball career now, actually.
They're also probably in their 60s now.
Well, no, assume it like they teleported together at their primes, at their respective primes.
Okay.
They might be very tired from spending 10 hours trying to catch a mongoose before they gave up. I don't know who would win that. I think that's a toss-up.
It could go either way.
The basketball players could fit in a bobsled.
Oh, they might be too tall.
What is the standard physique of bobsledders? They're quite muscular, right?
They were all sprinters.
A lot of sprinters.
A lot of sprinters, yeah.
I'll bet like 5'10"ish is probably, and just with very, very strong legs. Because you got to accelerate and push.
Oh, yes, that's the big part of it. Mm-hmm.
So basketball, like long, lanky levers as a basketball player might not be the right physique for a bobsled.
I want to watch bobsledding so badly right now.
You're going to go watch Cool Runnings right after this, aren't you? The documentary?
Documentary.
So I think we don't really know.
We've conclusively shown that they can win or lose at anything. There's nothing they can't do.
All I know is that they like sashimi like everybody else in the world.
And sushi.
And sushi.
They like sashimi and sushi.
But not corn or rice.
But not corn or rice. And definitely not grilled cheese.
The podcast.
My favorite moment of the podcast was when Adam was like, I've had pizza in Italy. It sucked. And then took a big drink
of his apple juice that looks like scotch. So he's like, I've been there.
I can imagine some Neapolitan pizza maker just watching.
I've had red wine in France. It was shit.
The podcast.
Because my favorite segments are my segments. Didn't really mean that.
What a coincidence, Catherine.
The podcast.
No erections for children should be the last episode.
Catherine's controversial stance.
Less
erections for children.
Children should not have erections.
I can see the billboards now.
If you're ever first lady, that can be your platform.
I was just about to say, I'm surprised none of the presidential candidates have taken that as their main platform.
Oh, erections for children.
The podcast.
Back in the day, people would have the left-handedness beaten out of them.
I mean, I don't think that was possible. I think that was like trying to pray the gay away. You just be like, I'm right-handed.
Yeah, left-handed, you get all smudge on your hand. In Japan, they write from the right side of the page to the left. So I wonder if right-handed people get smudges and left-handed people are just crushing it with clean hands.
Whoa.
Isn't Hebrew also that direction?
Yeah, good point.
Smudgeception.
The podcast.
So many times this podcast, I've said something and it's gotten nothing, and so I've repeated it.
Did it work the second time?
Yeah, every time. And I don't know if you guys can tell I repeated it, and it's just pity. It's like if he keeps saying that, we're just going to laugh
something,
eventually.
otherwise.
Yeah. But I appreciate it either way. I just assumed that a New Zealand dish would be one.
No kidding. No, number 7 is okonomiyaki.
Hang on a second.
I just assumed that the top most popular food would be something native to New Zealand.
The podcast